Okay. So let's just go ahead and start it.
Do it.
This is the first episode of Real Realtors. It's going to be video format and audio format on my podcast. And so the guests here, just to let everyone know, we have Norman Kinsey III, CEO of Support RE. And we also have Ronald Garcia, who works with me on a team. And together we do home sales. Yeah, cups are perfect. And then we've got
fancy.
Our videographer, producer, Robert Andre, and we have Sam Lovin here. And the whole point of this podcast, of this episode of Real Realtors, is really for me to sit down and just discuss real estate with people within the actual industry. So it's a little bit different than what I'm doing on my podcast. Where I sit down one-on-one and interview people, their backstory, what they do, and this will literally just be about real estate talk. So hopefully a lot of the real estate people out there will get some value, and I think today's episode is going to bring a lot of value. So I've got some topics here. I want to just jump right into it.
Awesome.
So we're going to talk a little bit about some current trends, and then talk a little bit of marketing a little bit later in the show. So let's just get right into it. So there's an East Bay article that just came out. In fact, when did the article come out?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, okay. Talking about the difficulty of housing here in California and the housing crisis. And they obviously talk about how hard it is to buy a home in California. So I want to get your guys' opinion on why is it so tough to buy.
Well, basically, I would say the competition. There are, for every single listing that comes into the any market in the Bay Area, or whether you are east or west of San Francisco, you're going to have 10 or 15 buyers for every home that comes for sale. That's why it's so tough.
Which I actually think it's kind of good in a way as well, because in that way, because I was speaking to a couple of realtors a couple weeks ago, and she was saying how she was selected out of 15 offers because the way that she went about to basically go and facilitate putting in the offer, reaching out to the actual agent and connecting with that agent to kind of, I wouldn't say schmooze, but sure, to kind of get that agent to look at her offer a little more seriously. And then she said that she had to come back. I think she went 15 to 20,000 below what the highest offer was, and then she came back and countered, and then everything worked out. Her offer got accepted.
Another thing to consider, I think it's not the higher number. I think we concentrate more on terms, and to solidify that offer, we want to make sure that the offer that comes in, it's going to close. Otherwise, you take an offer that's going to be the highest price, where you're going to waste 30 to 45 days of everybody's time.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense.
Okay, now the homeownership rate right now in California is 54.6. The trend is that it's dropping. It used to be in the 60s. And they predict, and I believe they predict this in the next 5 to 8 years, that California is going to be mainly a tenant occupied state.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, let's talk a little bit about what's causing. Why is it so hard? And I know you guys, just spoke on that. But what do you think of the financing world? How difficult it is to get a loan?
Wow. Good question. I think just the process to get a loan, it's extremely difficult, because you have to literally provide and make sure that the buyers that are trying to get a home now are definitely able to purchase that home. So they go through a process that
Speak more into the mic.
They get pre-approved before they go out there and try to get a house. So it is not like it used to be back in 2005 and 6, that it was a stated income and that's it. Now all kinds of documents need to be provided in order to be pre-qualified.
Yeah, I think education is a big part of it as well. These individuals need to be educated based upon the fact of You know, how much do they need to have down? How do they need to save? How do they need to manage to make sure that their credit and FICO score is going to be at a level where they can actually be qualified to be able to purchase a home? I think that, you know, the educated individuals in the marketplace are starting to buy up a lot of properties like corporate America, where there's a shift in the marketplace where the uneducated individuals aren't having the ability to put emphasis on being able to buy because they don't have the education. So if they don't have the education, their parents never bought, or they bought late, or whatever, what have you, how are you going to be able to potentially buy a home? And that goes to, say, for instance, even starting your own business. You know, I meet so many small business owners, which are realtors, that don't have a marketing budget, don't have a business plan, things like that as well. I think it's all relative.
Okay, and we can transition here to the fact that millennials right now, and typically, and I've seen so many different age ranges for millennials, but typically it's from 14 to about 34 is like the average of what I've seen, the ages. And right now they are a bigger group than baby boomers. And more millennials are renting. In fact, I believe, let's see, I've got the stat here, about 38% still live at home.
Yeah.
And they're a much bigger group than baby boomers.
Wow.
And so now that you're in marketing, I want to get your opinion on marketing to millennials. I know you deal with quite a few millennials, and where is that a little bit different for the average realtor? Because the average realtor is also 55 years old.
Yeah, that ties into social media, you know, and being on social media, or, you know, doing videos like we're doing now, to reach out to these individuals. I mean, if you're checking your phone, on average, a smartphone user checks their phone 20 times per day. So are you, you know, doing what you need to do to educate the market, you know? And it's just like, you know, traditional stuff is great, sending out mailers and, you know, and doing your door knocking and things like that. But if you can get out there on the platforms where the millennials are located and educate them with, say, for instance, like a video like this is an awesome opportunity to educate the youth, to say, hey, you can purchase a home. It is possible. It is doable. Don't listen to the naysayers and what's going on the marketplace, because everyone's so, they don't know what they don't know, and their parents don't know what they don't know, and so it doesn't even cause an interest for them to say, oh, maybe I should figure it out. But if they stumble upon a video from a realtor, educated, who knows?
Now, you're in marketing, and I know you look at a lot of data. How do you see the mentality of millennials when it comes to housing?
Good question. I would say that probably thinking a little more, it's outside of their reach. They don't have the money, it's outside of their reach. I think are some big things for them, and or not even thinking about it in general, being too much in the moment.
Are you working with realtors that are trying to target the millennial demographic?
Yes, I am. I have realtors out there right now that are doing various different strategic marketing, whether it's, you know, wearing a cool, fun T-shirt, or, you know, actually giving back to the local community, and actually started off with giving a PlayStation away to a child because he found it in his closet. He's like, I don't use this PlayStation. I was cleaning out my house and want to go ahead and just give back. And the next thing you know, it snowballed into giving 5 away, you know, and to the parents. And then, you know, millennials see that, and then the way he's been marketing online has been pretty fascinating, kind of doing short commercial clips that catches a younger person's attention. You know, he's 37 or 38, and, you know, it caught my attention. I was like, what? Who are you? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And I meet agents all the time. It's very fascinating.
Okay, so let's switch it up to you, Ronald. Marketing to millennials, what do you think?
Well, definitely, you definitely have to be using all the social media platforms in order to get to them. One of the things that I want to touch on, based on what you just said on millennials, that is kind of like out of their reach. One of the trends that I've seen is that I would say that 1 out of 10 millennials will tend to buy a house, but it's that 1 can afford to buy a house. However, they reach out to their friends and they all live together in a house, and the other 3 might not be interested in buying a house, but they're definitely interested in living where this individual bought that house, because it's close to home, it's close to work, and they can walk, they can bike, and that's definitely a trend I've seen around. So.
Okay. Now, do you guys think it's worth marketing to the much younger generation that is 18 to 25. They're not really home buyers just yet. They will in the future.
Yeah.
We're talking about 10 to 15 years. Should an agent start investing time into advertising to them, marketing to them to build a following, even though they won't have the returns today?
I would say yes. I would say most definitely if, and only if, they're willing to stick it out for the long haul and be consistent. Because there's so many individuals out there that don't stick it out, they don't go for the long haul. And we always tell our clients, it's just like, it's not going to happen overnight. You got to take, 6, 12, 24, 36 months. Give it time. But if you're the one to educate someone, and I believe education is the best form of sales, because you can educate someone, and after you educate them and they understand what maybe they didn't understand previously, then when they get to a point where they said, hey, because of you I saved my money, I did this and I did that, now I have a 800 credit score, I have 50,000 in the bank, I'm ready to buy a house, ever since I was 18 I followed you, now I'm 22, you're going to make an impact on that person. But you have to think 10 steps ahead. I don't think a lot of realtors do that.
It definitely goes back to education. I think that's the base or the core of any realtor business, to educate. A perfect example, it's one of my little cousins. He's going to be 21 and he's already on a 6-figure salary, and he came up to me, he's like, dude, my taxes are killing me. And I basically, he said actually that he reached out to another realtor close to where he lives, and then he was like pushing a house to him, and I said, well, but he goes, I can't afford it. He goes, well, why don't you just try to, instead of buying a house, why don't you just try to get a multi-unit? And then if you buy a multi-unit, you can live in one unit and then live there for 2 years, and then after that you can just move out, go get another house. But you're not gonna do this and then in 2 years you're done. Just try to build wealth. You're gonna be in for the long haul. You're not just gonna be there in and out in 5 years. So it goes back to education.
How much do you think gentrification plays into this? Because that's one of the things that the East Bay Times article touched on, is gentrification. Higher income individuals, higher educated individuals moving into different areas that outplace lower income, less educated people. How much does that affect affordability here in California? Mainly the Bay Area.
We're seeing it all over the place. Look at what's happening with Silicon Valley, man. It's just amazing. I mean, we have a huge imbalance. I think it's the imbalance right now is just ridiculous. You got these people that run these tech companies that are making so much money, and then you have these individuals that are just like, envious, and then it puts them into a category where they don't feel like they can make it themselves as well, but they can. But it goes back to education. They just don't have the education, and it's a huge thing, I think, in the marketplace right now, is the education and utilizing the platforms where these millennials are on, their smartphone.
Yeah, definitely. I think like education, like how you touch on, it just sucks right now.
It's terrible.
Like a lot of jobs and positions are literally getting automated. In fact, Ronald and I were just talking at the office meeting this morning, and talking about certain attorneys. I mean, you think of an attorney making $100-200 an hour reviewing contracts, when there's bots right now that are being created to completely automate their job, and a company like CoreLogic eliminates 360,000 hours of attorney hours in billing.
Wow.
Yeah, and then that technology is coming to real estate, because now we have bots that are able to read contracts and disclosures and do exactly what a transaction coordinator does. Those jobs then get displaced.
Wow.
So, it's I think it's a big mixture of a lot of things. But when you start getting displaced because your skill gets automated, that's when you really have to go back to school or learn a different skill or adapt and find a different way. But if the education sucks and you can't get that, that's a big problem.
I'm definitely a huge believer that whatever you're in your industry, you definitely have to not only evolve with education, but also evolve with the technology that makes that industry happen. So if you're behind, you're definitely going to be left behind. You're going to disappear in the industry. But if you're constantly learning um, about all the technology and your own industry, you're definitely going to be successful within.
So I'll throw this stat out here, and I was doing some research yesterday and found this to be very interesting. 62% of the entire Bay Area does not have a college education.
Wow.
62%. It's high school or some college. So not, they didn't graduate, they don't have a degree. 62%. Silicon Valley, 52%. So there are, like in Silicon Valley, there's 10% more people that have degrees there.
I think that it's turning into like the Wild Wild West out there. I think it's a modern day Wild Wild West where the education system can't move. And I mean, the government education system, it can't move as fast as the technology is moving.
Well, it's also a money racket too with a lot of schools.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you think of schools that are charging ridiculous fees for what they teach, and they make a lot of students, and I see this even in elementary, middle school, high school, where they literally just make you memorize and regurgitate stuff that you can find on Google.
Yeah.
Like,
well, when you can access all the information that all the universities have out there, and you don't have to spend the money, you can do that by just going online and get that information. And I think it has become a culture, I would say, in the Bay Area, where everybody wants to come up with the next Facebook. They want to come up with the next big idea and being innovators. I mean, I've seen a ton of people that get just together and then come up with different ideas and collaborate in order to make the next big thing, and that's huge.
Every 10-year-old right now wants to be a YouTube star.
Yeah. Well, I'll put a nugget out there for everyone that's watching. A great idea just from our conversations is come up with an academy that can be online that can teach individuals specific traits with videos that they can tap into, and they can just pay a subscription model, and they can learn about what are the steps to buying a house. I'm 18. How can I potentially start my own business? Here's some tips and tricks, and have a catalog and have some type of site or something where it can be something like that for them to be able to get those resources in one place, where then it opens your mind up to, what am I thinking? What do I want to do? Is it available? Search. Oh, this is available. One-time fee and then monthly or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and there are universities and some colleges that are starting to test with that. So it's very interesting to see how this is going to go, because you can go onto I think a site, udemy.com, and if you go to that website, like anyone, like if you wanted to create a course, you can do a free course or a paid course, but you have colleges and universities like Oxford, Harvard, they're creating their own courses, and you can sign up for free or paid courses online. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how education transforms in the future. But then if you start going online, how many jobs are going to be automated within the industry when you can create online courses and you don't need the same teacher year after year teaching the courses. They just need to update courses.
It's so funny you just mentioned that, because both of my kids are homeschooled. So we basically bought a program where let's just say that my wife, she's not very strong on the subject of math. So there is a community around our city where we take our kid, we teach one class in my house, and then the other classes are teach at a different mom's houses, and we bounce from house to house. So my kids are not enrolled in a typical school program, but they're getting the same type of education, and they're getting a lot more attention. So
we're losing that. The attention is, and I have a friend of mine, she's a teacher, she's a PE at Hayward teacher, and she said that they just cut budgets to one teacher, something crazy like that.
It's insane.
Wow.
It's insane. And she said it's literally controlled chaos that she has to go through, and then now they cut the budget, so now she is only just doing PE, but she also has to do an elective, and something else. So she's now doing 3 different things instead of one thing because of all the budget cuts. She said that the government gave the school district like something like 3 or 10, some ridiculous amount of money, like 3, 4, 5, $10 million. Well, next thing you know, the money was gone. What happened to the money? Well, they started asking. They said, "Hey, here's a raise. Don't worry about it."
That's one of the biggest problems.
Don't worry about it.
Top people and raises.
Jeez, it's just, I don't know. That's a whole other topic, but
Yeah.
it's sad.
Yeah, my mother works for the school district over in Fairfield, and it's the same situation.
Yeah.
You know, they get extra funding, and you see, you know, teachers making 40, 50, 60,000. A lot of them pay for supplies from their own pocket because they can't get the budget
Mm-hmm.
from the school and the district. And then you start seeing some of the supervisors that are making, you know, on the cheap end, 150,000, and you'll see some of them making 350,000. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And they're not in the forefront.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's pivot here and go into marketing. Okay, we talked a little bit of marketing on the podcast last week, and for those just tuning in now, the podcast aired yesterday. You can catch it on iTunes, Podbean, SoundCloud. You can go to my website, marcguzman.com. And so we spoke a little bit about Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. We didn't really touch on video much, so let's get into video. And I know there's a lot of different formats to do video. In fact, you're recording on your not iPhone, but you're recording on your phone. Yeah, and then you're doing Instagram Live here.
Yep.
We're recording the episode. So, being that you do marketing for other realtors, how do you introduce them into doing video, and what are tips that someone can take back right now?
You know, we always start off with, you know, before anyone gets signed up with us, we kind of want to find out, you know, their comfort level. You know, do they feel comfortable doing videos? Have they done videos? Where are they at with it? I think that, you know, the number one thing when it comes to videos, if anyone wants to do anything with videos or try to get on it, it's no different than just walking down the street or walking down the street with a camera. You know, what's the difference? Someone's looking at you, or there's a phone in front of my face nowadays. It's a phone. It's not that big of a deal. So get the stigma out your head about, oh my God, there's a camera recording me, because people start thinking about that and they start jumbling their words and everything else. But right now, what they can do is they can. Number one tip is, you know, before a formal listing presentation, you know, do an intro video. Introduce yourself. Who are you? How are you differentiating yourself? How do you market, basically, you know, your listings or your clients' listings? And so that way, before you actually meet them in person, they can have an idea of what you do and how you differentiate yourself and who you are. So you're almost kind of like a celebrity in a sense. And what you can also do with that video is it's going to be a marketing video selling yourself as to why would someone use your services over someone else's services. And then you can post it onto, like, say, Facebook, and you can boost that out to a specific demographic, like a zip code where the home that you're about to list is going to come up for sale. And then you can get additional exposure and potentially get additional listings from that. You can easily put a link in the description. They can click the link and they can go ahead and sign up for, say, a free consultation.
Great. What's the percentage of agents that are doing video? Under 5?
1%, yeah, under 5 for sure. Wow. I mean, with our programs, we offer video scripts, we offer calling scripts. If they're in the local area, they can come to our office, we'll record them and the whole 9. And probably out of 70 of our monthly clients, we probably have maybe like 10, if that, 5 to 10, that actually really put emphasis on doing it. And it's sad because there's so much lost opportunity where you can put emphasis on being in multiple places at once. If you're at a formal listing presentation, you're at a broker's tour, you're at whatever, you have this video out there, you know, people are gonna, so like I'm doing a Instagram Live, they're gonna see that video for the next 24 hours. Right? And if there's a realtor that sees that, they might sign up for the services. I'm going to record the next one. I'll probably put this whole podcast maybe on the Supportery, you know, YouTube channel, and then post it onto all the Supportery stuff and my personal stuff and put it out there, and then, hey, you seen this, sign up, supportery.com. You know, it's just those opportunities that people don't even take advantage of.
Do you have any results or any data as far as the results on videos versus just any other marketing
Yeah, I mean, you can see like who views it, who comments on it, and then the biggest, I think, instant gratification is if you use it for a formal listing presentations like situation, then you get the instant gratification when you go to the listing. Because they'll automatically tell you, watch the video, it's so awesome, I saw your testimonials, or however you laid out the video. That's going to be your quickest instant gratification. Beyond and above that, you know, then you're talking about, okay, it's on a landing page. And if a video is on a landing page, so you can capture data, capture first name, last name, you know, information, for maybe like a free home evaluation, that's going to be a little harder unless they comment. If they like it, they comment, you'll see that, and then you'll see the view. But if they don't do any of that, then it can get a little more frustrating because you're like, well, I want to see what I'm actually getting out of this. And we have a video right now, supporteremarketing.com, and I have a video and I have the whole breakdown, and they can watch it, and I've been monitoring who watch it. I haven't got maybe a couple likes, not really any comments, because people won't comment. Like, people right now might be watching the Instagram live, but they might not comment on it.
Looks like you have a few comments there.
Yeah, actually we have a couple now.
Yeah.
But, you know, they might not comment on it, but they see it, because it's almost like the domino effect. The first person doesn't want to be you don't want to be the first person to comment, but as soon as that first person does, then the next, and it snowballs from there. So, yeah.
And nowadays with Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, well, YouTube's always had an emphasis on like videos, but Facebook, Instagram, really putting a lot of emphasis on video, changing their algorithms to improve, you know, the number of people that watch your video.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to do video.
Yeah, well, you think about the pictures. The pictures said 1 million words. When they start to get to the point where pictures can be developed so quick, now videos is the next wave, because, you know, you have individuals like, I want to say there was a TV series or something coming out with, I forgot her name. She's an actor, and she's also and she's an artist, and she said she used the YouTube platform because of the Millennials and because of how many people is Demi Nirvana or something her name is. So she actually used that platform because she said it's better to use that platform than any other platform or a major network, because it's so quick and everyone's on an iPod or a cell phone, and it's a quick way to be able to see that. That's why YouTube, I swear by it all day long.
And think about the number of people that are dropping their cable subscribers, Comcast and everyone else.
I don't have it.
Yeah, me neither. Do you? You do have it.
I do have it for my kids, just for them.
Yeah.
Or sports. I see people that keep their cable just because of sports.
Well, now
you can live stream it on any app too.
That's true.
And then you can put it on the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, you know, Hulu has their own, for $40 a month, they have their own cable service now. And you can watch live sports and live programming for $40 a month.
Game changer.
And you get all the other programming. And for $50 a month, you get, I think, 2,000 hours of DVR or something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that one.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had a buddy who just switched over. So, Ronald, video. You do video?
I'm not doing video. Just yet. And then I think we go back to what you just touched on earlier. I'm just a little bit uncomfortable, but I gotta get on with.
You're doing really good. There's 5 cameras in front of you right now. See?
Right?
You're not even thinking about it, so.
Yeah. I think we're just, I don't know. I'm just not comfortable doing it, but I'm definitely going to start doing it. And it's funny because there are cameras everywhere we go nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, you go outside of this building and there's going to be a camera outside. So.
And think about the cameras on our phones. Even when you're talking on it, there's the cameras on the outside. The government can tap into that. You know, you see the movies. They say whatever you see in the movies is like 10 years, 15 years behind. All the technology. So you got those like movies about like James Bond 007 or whatever, and they go into this spy net thing, and they can go and they tap into the, you know, they tap in. They can see cameras all over the place. They tap into your smartphone camera. They tap in all these cameras. It's out there already.
Well, the CIA has that technology that they leaked. Well, CIA didn't leak it, but they can hack into your Samsung TV, the smart TVs.
Oh.
And they can listen through the microphone to conversations. And they also have technology where they can identify how many people are in a room through your Wi-Fi network.
Wow. It's just like you hear about the Xbox. Before the new Xbox came out, they made it mandatory that you had to have the camera on. So you walked in the home and said, "Oh, hello, Mark." Like, it greeted you, right? And then they also said you had to agree to something. Yeah, you had to agree to something. So if there was ever any disturbance, like if you were trying to kill your wife or something happened, like they would automatically send the authorities.
Yeah.
To your home. and there's some big uproar about that.
Yeah, it's a little creepy, but I think as a society, that's where we're going. I mean, I think audio is going to be the next wave of video, and video for businesses is not even a huge wave. There's so many few people doing it, but audio is going to pick up right after. I mean, think about it. How many of you, do you guys have Alexa at home? Or a Google Home?
No, I do not. But I use my phone all the time and talk to it.
But it's your phone. I mean, how many times you're just literally talking to your wife or friends about whatever you want to buy. Next thing you know, you go on Facebook and they're targeting you with what you talked about like an hour ago.
Yeah, they're sending you an ad.
Exactly, because Siri picks up whatever you're talking. You know?
Yeah. No, that's why I think that it's either, you go and you move with it and you get 10 steps ahead with it, or you just fall behind and then you watch everyone else reap the benefit and you're like, I had that same idea, I could have did that, but I didn't. It's just like, just go for it, why not?
Yeah, over at Inman Connect in San Francisco just a couple weeks ago, they were talking about Google Home, Alexa, and all the tech that's coming with these voice-activated devices and bots. And they're talking about, you can wake up in the morning and say, I'm curious as to what my house is worth. Alexa, what's my house worth? And it will automatically pull up local comps and give you a rough estimate of how much it's worth. And it'll pull from Zillow or various other websites based on what skills you want to activate for.
What's my net worth today, Alexa?
Actually, it'll give you an answer. Because it connects with banks. And I think Chase has a really good Alexa skill that will tell you your bank statements, your net worth, your investments, everything else. So all that's coming. So imagine.
You might be sad with the answer or very happy with the answer.
Right. $0.
That will make you go to work.
It's like, oh man.
Yeah, I haven't tried a Google Home, but I definitely want to try that and compare it to Alexa and see which one's better. But a lot of that stuff's coming. I mean, people are listening more and more to podcasts. One reason why, I started the podcast, besides the whole marketing, is that the demographics for home buyers and home sellers, they tend to listen to podcasts more than anyone else.
You can thank traffic for that.
Traffic.
I was just gonna say that. What the amount of hours that our users or customers are spending in the car, that's probably why it hyped up to the numbers you're seeing in listening podcasts.
Yeah. I listen to my books. I don't read books. I listen. It's easy.
Yeah.
Driving, not really the gym, but usually driving, I'll listen to a book more than listening to music.
Yeah, I just saw an article today, and I didn't have time to really read it in detail, but the headline is, the next 1 billion users of the internet are all going to be focused on audio and video. No texting, no typing, no reading. Audio and video.
Yeah, that's true. People are getting lazier. They don't want to have to read, and writing and reading is harder. On our website, we're launching on the 31st. We actually are making it so our story is going to be video, text, and audio. So you can pick whatever one you want. So if you want to watch me, you can watch me talking about our story. You can read it if you want to read it, or you can just listen to it real quick.
So that reminds me of a really good tip when it comes to posting videos on YouTube and Facebook, is to include captions, and also Instagram. Include captions as if, subtitles, captions at the bottom of the video, on top, whichever way you want to design it. Because how many times are we going through Facebook or Instagram and scrolling through, but we have the sound turned off because we're at work or we're at home, we're watching something else. We don't want the actual audio to turn on, and so we have the phone on silent. So if you do a video and you're talking, but they can't hear you, they're just gonna skip.
Yeah.
And so that when you have the subtitles and various captions throughout the video, that's where you can retain a lot more people, because they'll be able to read what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. We were just talking about design team about that, because we have tips and tricks YouTube videos, and we want to write the caption for the video because of that reason.
Yeah. Yep. So, Ron, let's talk to you about what's a marketing tactic you're using right now that you don't see other realtors using.
I think one of we talked about actually this the other day. It's picking up new listings pending properties that are on the market and actually properties that haven't get to the market and putting them out there on Facebook to attract new buyers. Another thing is new development complexes or properties that are going on the market, but they haven't been posted on the MLS. Putting them on Facebook. That's one of the tactics that I'm using.
And what's surprising is a lot of developers don't do that. They'll develop homes and they'll use the same traditional marketing tactics. They'll create flyers, brochures, everything, distribute it to various offices, but they can only create so many, they can only distribute so many, and they just kind of expect that people are going to drive by their big wavy sign that says developments 2 exits down, make a right, and sometimes when you try to follow those directions, it's pretty hard to find, and so
I think they take it for granted. I mean, they have development. They feel like, well, the buyers are going to come. They're just going to sell themselves because of what they have to offer, and also because the market is so hot nowadays. But I believe that the more people you attract, the faster you can sell that particular property.
Yeah. So Facebook is definitely,
Absolutely.
Now, do you
Huge resource.
Do you customize Facebook ads for your clients, like the target audience?
Yeah, just for mainly for like the Facebook marketing campaigns out to a specific zip code is where we kind of specialize and put in specialized tags and things like that in order to drive traffic to the landing page. Then we can get contacts from a zip code, and then a mailer would be from the specific farm, so we can reach a broader area.
Okay. So I think we're gonna end it there. We've been going for quite a few minutes, and wanted to keep these as short little episodes where we really just get into real estate. So I think we covered a lot, gave some really good advice for the people that saw us live and who are going to watch this recording or listen to it afterwards. And Norman, why don't you go ahead and state your company, how people can contact you.
Awesome. So it's Norman with Support RE. You can go to supportre.com to view our website. It's going to be launching a new website on the 31st, and then if you go to supportremarketing.com, you'll meet me and get some free tips on how to maximize and what to maximize with what social media to be on. And yes, Norman at supportre.com. If you want to personally email me.
And for people that want to sell their house or buy a house, they will contact Ronald. And what's the best way to contact you?
You can contact me. I'm with Security Pacific Real Estate, Ronald Garcia. Ronald Garcia Homes at Facebook, and my number is 650-804-5287.
Perfect. And then we'll link up both your Instagrams, Facebook channels, and websites. And thank you for coming.
Awesome. Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
me.
having us.
Yeah.
Cool.